All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the stream here tonight. Gonna be flying solo here tonight for our Friday night Face It. And we have two really good games. Granted, if you watch back on Wednesday, these were not the two games tonight that we had selected. Rescheduling happens. However, I think we still have really two great games here. First off, starting here in South America, Fatties takes on Elemental Ice, or Element Ice. This Element Ice team got off to a little bit of a rough start, but has really started to bounce back here in their last couple of games. 3-2 on the season puts them in a really good spot right now. When you look at those standings, however, when you do look at those standings, you have Piso Sour and Heist. They're two current undefeated teams here in the South America region, both sitting at 5-0. And honestly, I don't see either of those teams losing anytime soon. But you look at this game here tonight, both these teams kind of sitting on that fringe playoff area. Elemental Ice, like I said, we've covered them a little bit this season. Phantom Fatties, on the other hand, me and Hunter have been trying to cover this team, I believe, almost every week. But it seems like every time we say, hey, let's commit to watching this team here or covering their game, they just unfortunately end up rescheduling it here. However, this one looks like it is going to go on as planned. And here's the big thing with these two rosters. You look over at Elemental Ice, or Element Ice, Burno, Grillo, and really Goldfeather, three incredible players. Burno, incredible in their own right. I think this is just a really strong Element Ice team, and the fact you only have 5, I think it only allows you to really build up that synergy. However, on the downside, it does make you a little bit more predictable here. Phantom Fatties, on the other hand, a team that I've been, like I said, wanting to cover here for a little bit. A lot of new faces to us, or at least to me, coming into this season, but a lot of them that we did see in the World Cup trials for their countries, or even some of the show matches for them as well. So I do think it should be a really, really interesting matchup here tonight. Phantom Fatties, though, will get our first map pick of the night. And like we've kind of been seeing here with a lot of teams, we started off on Busan week 1, but ever since then, we've kind of been gravitating more back to Lijiang, which not necessarily the biggest surprise, honestly, when you ask me, as it's everyone's favorite control map, even though Busan has getting a lot of play. But no, the Fatties Phantom taking us over to Oasis. I like this here, a little bit different, like I said, with both Busan and Lijiang in the map pool. Now Oasis kind of falling back down to probably the map that's being selected the least here, so maybe trying to get a little bit of an edge on their opponents here tonight, saying, hey, maybe they haven't been able to scrim Oasis. And you look at Oasis, a little bit more of a divey map. Yes, you can definitely play Brawl, you can definitely play Poke, hell, you can play everything on it, as it is a control map, but instead, you will always kind of be gravitating, I think, towards those dive heroes on it. Doesn't mean we won't see something like a Zarya, something like a Sigma, something like a Ramatra even here. Those are definitely still on the table right now for both these teams. Phantom Fatties, though, will have first ban. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're going here, because I think, again, with only 5 players on the other side, it's hard to kind of ban against here. However, Kiriko being their ban, I think that's a really good ban. It's a very safe ban. If you've been around the streams from me and Hunter, that's just a very, very safe ban when all things are set and done here. But now it's up for Element Ice, or Elemental Ice, to make their ban. Do they go after a tank? Do they go after a DPS? Well, they have to go after one of them. But who do you go after here? Do you go after maybe the namesake here of this Phantom Fatties team? Do you get rid of the Hog? I mean, yeah, I know it's not the logo that I have down there for them, but their logo on FaceIt is a Roadhog. So there's still a lot of good options here to ban out. Like I said, Zarya is probably a safe ban here as well. But eventually when Element Ice's ban comes in here, it will, the screen will go away, but I'll eventually tell you what it is. Lineups being finalists, should be invited to the lobby here any moment. This should be a really, really good series here tonight. Again, especially with the subs here on this Phantom team, you have to be looking at them as maybe a team that is going to be able to make some of those adjustments really on the fly in between maps. Bring someone in, play completely different composition that might force Element Ice to maybe play a little bit differently. Maybe it's something out of their comfort zone. So that's going to be really interesting to see as we go on. But right now, waiting for the lineups to be finalized. Element Ice, well, as you see, only 5 players on that team, so we're not going to be seeing any changes from them. Only Phantom is going to be the only team that can make subs here. Nozumi and Striker on the team as the subs. So I think I remember saying Nozumi's name a lot in the past. It wouldn't surprise me to see them come in pretty early here. Oh, there we are. It's the Junker Queen coming in as our second ban. That is a really, really fun ban, honestly. Like, it's an unexpected one as well. I feel like you just don't see the Queen that often. get played. But I mean, hey, if it works out for them and it's something that really works for them, it wouldn't shock me here. But getting... Okay. One moment here while I'm just getting the bands put in. What the heck? All right, and we will transition here over to the game right now. Oasis, our first map of the night here. Phantom Fatty is going to be on your left. Elemental Ice on your right. It's going to be a really fun series. Like I said, it's going to be really interesting to see what we see from these two teams, and I got to put the sound on so you guys can hear, because that would, I feel like that would go a long way for everyone watching. But right now, again, you're starting off on a map like Gardens. It's very easy. It's a very interesting map, not a very easy map. You normally see a lot of teams kind of play for this high ground right here and eventually just have to force fights away from that. You see both teams actually, at least at the moment, showing us a little bit of the Winston dive competition is coming out here. Burno, though, showing us the Cassidy. We have seen Burno. They are very, very good hit scan, no matter who they're playing. But I've always kind of felt like in these last couple games where we've seen them, especially with Emre being strong, they've always kind of tended to stick away from the Emre at times and have really found the value with it here. Off black, though, on the other side, going to be showing you the Emre. And really, the only difference between these two teams here, because that Kiriko's being banned, is look like Phantom Fatty is going to be running a very fast composition, but Moshi just there for the speed ring and then eventually swapping off to something else here. But right now, it's going to be very interesting just to see how both these teams play here. Already, you do see Element Ice on this high ground, going to be able to control it very, very good. Now you're waiting for Boboro to make that dive up there onto it, but no, instead it's going to be Neil making the dive in instead. They need all the healing in the world. Nice bubble by them there to make sure that they do not get healed up. An excellent start here for Phantom, as now they're just looking to clean up this fight. The point will open, and you're starting to see Daisy pressured out here a little bit. Eclipse going to be able to shut down Imozuki, but now this is just going to be the fight done and dusted here. Phantom Fatty is off to a great start. Wouldn't be surprised here to see some swaps come out potentially a little bit early here from Element Ice if this does not really go their way here. Neil already going right in. There's one swap. Imozuki going over to the Juno instead. A straight mirror match. A straight mirror match now for the two teams. It's Daisy just checking the corners right here, going after life percent on the other side. I have to try to figure out who that is, but they're able to find the better of Daisy right there. And now speed ring out. You need to get Neil a lot of healing. Nice whip shot coming out there. Actually, you're going to be able to get Boro because of it. A huge play there from Goldfeather gives Element Ice the point, and now it's just a cleanup here as everyone too far in to escape with their lives. Maybe trying to get one on the way out. They will be able to find one, but Burno just shows them the bunt end of the gun right there to end the fight. A really good kind of take back there from Element Ice. They need something like that very quickly, and you got a good play there, especially from Goldfeather. Able to get that whip shot kill off the map right there, especially on someone like Boboro. Really slows down everything that this Phantom Fatty team wants to do. You're seeing just the teams get positioned right here. Phantom Fatties looking for that excellent dive opportunity. Speed ring out just to at least keep Moshi alive here as Neil makes their dive in. Imozuki going to be able to find one. However, the bubble already out here now as you're starting to see a little bit of fallback here from Element Ice. Neil going to be able to find Moshi. And this already just looks like one of those fights where you're just going to be backing up. Daisy does find one, but Burno, again, I talked about that in the past. Me and Hunter have talked about them in the past. They can take over a game on a moment's notice, but Daisy right now have themselves a really good start here. Has to be running for their life. No large health pack there, but a support coming out of spawn will be able to keep them alive. It looks like Element Ice just going to be backing up here for a brief moment. Ultimates online, though, for both teams, and it's going to be Phantom Fatties. I think they're going to come in first here with some of their ultimates. Pulse Bomb now ready here for Daisy, but it's actually be the Primal Rage out from Neil here pretty early on as they try to find something here with it, focusing in on Moshi as the rally comes out for them, and Neil just decides to turn tail and run. I think he'll gladly take that as life percentile. Going to be able to find off black Moshi now with their own rally, trying to find something here. The Pulse Bomb from Daisy doesn't find the stick, but still finds Goldfeather right there, who did pop rally. Even Goldfeather's asking, how the heck did that kill me there? But still, it's Element Ice in control of the point, but looks like they won't be in control for much longer. Okay, an interesting use of the ultimate right here by Burno. I mean, if you can find one with it, I guess it finds value, but this is almost a little bit of a waste, almost getting rid of Moshi right there, but they're going to be able to get healed back up pretty easily. Good back and forth fight so far for these two teams. Fatties back in control of the point. Neil making that dive back onto the high ground, almost finding Eclipse there, but the orbital ray going to be able to keep them alive, and now that's actually going to force the pressure here from Phantom. Eclipse going to be able to shut down Emozuki, and Eclipse has been someone who's been finding a lot of picks here very early on this series. Neil trying to run for the life, being harassed by both Off Black, who finds him with the override protocol, but Off Black with 2 already with the protocol, looking for more as they're chasing them back into the spawn. But we saw this already from Element Ice in the first couple fights they had there after they took point. I like what Phantom is doing here, trying to take all that space right back very quickly. Emozuki, only one with an ultimate online here in the lobby. Life percent should be able to build up to an ultimate here very, very quickly as well, but this could really be final fight. But Boboro, a huge early pick there onto the Tracer for Element Ice. Nice whip shot again, but now you're down 2 and you invest the orbital ray. Both your DPS members are down. This orbital ray is just going to be nothing, essentially. It will go by the wayside now. Pulse Bomb's going to be ready for both sides here. It's going to be Life Percentile who's going to be the touch here more likely than not, but they're going to be harassed by a couple members. They will get the touch, but will immediately just have to fall back. Neil now making the dive on the point, just trying to buy their team some time, maybe hope that their team finds another pick. Pulse Bomb out from Daisy, will find a stick onto who else but Gold Feather yet again, and that's exactly what Phantom was looking for. Neil, they're going to be able to trade it out as Bernal on this offense, going to be harassed though by Boboro. Pulse Bomb out there from Life, not going to be able to find what they're looking for, but still, this Winston for Phantom has been just great. 3 already this fight, and that will give the first point over here to Phantom Fatties on this map. I'm going to quickly see who that is. That is Grillo. So Life Percentile is Grillo. I should have remembered that there. But, I mean, looking at the stats here, I mean, you have to look at the M-Rays, as always, leading the lobby in damage for almost both teams. Neil actually almost has 5,000, but still, very back and forth point right there. Boboro is the one I'm really looking at here. 13 elims, only 1 death. Played a very, very smart Winston. Neil seemed to be a little bit over-aggressive at times, hoping that someone like Grillo, hoping someone like Burno would kind of be there to back him up, but that backup was never necessarily there most of the time. Boboro, though, you saw it a lot there that first point, playing around their team, find the value there with that. It worked out very, very good for them. Only swap coming out this time around is Gold for them not going over to the BAP, and Neil on the Reinhardt. So if you want to see your Ryan gameplay, well, you have come to the right place here. Neil now going after Boboro. Nice actually boop there from, I believe, Emozuki trying to get them back in. The charge coming out there. Going to be able to find one. It's on the Off Black, but Neil, yet again, like the problems they had last point, going to over-aggress themselves. However, they're going to be able to find them immediately trade right there onto Eclipse, but still, you have Boboro alive. Point will open up here, and Boboro already kind of positioning himself here for a little bit of a stalling touch, hoping that their fallen teammates will be able to get back, but I think this point is going to go over to Element Ice here first. Boboro very low, and now Burno almost finding Moshi. It'll be Grillo who does find them there. Immortality Field pretty out here pretty early from Gold for them, but you look at the health pools here for everyone on the side of Element. Yeah, they desperately needed those. Each team's kind of waiting for that opportunity here to strike. Off Black trying to find a good angle here. Has to just pop out the Siphon Pistol just to keep themselves alive here and force a little bit of fallback from Element Ice. But it's going to be Daisy finding Burno. That's exactly who you're looking for there. That allows Boboro to go in, and now Off Black focusing in on Grillo, who will be able to find their counterpart there in Daisy, but still Boboro this is their map. Oh, they just played catch with the Pulse Bomb right there, essentially, as now Grillo kind of single-handedly holding this point for their team. A misplaced blink will at least stall out the point here for a moment, but Off Black going to be able to force out a little bit of a trade here, but still, you have Neil coming right back in, a little bit away from their shatter, but in a good enough opportunity to really be able to find some value with it here once they get it on. Nice play here by Boboro to at least keep the point in their control. Deadeye, though, out from Burno, going to be able to find Off Black. Nice! It's flashbang there from who else but Burno, as Burno finding 3. Does Burno find a 4th here? Alright, Silver Bullet online for them, looking for it, going to be able to find shield and wall, as Moshi just tries to back up, and Neil going to be able to shut them down with the Fire Strike, and now Element Ice should really look to fall back here. I understand playing aggressive, but you don't want to over-push yourself right here. Unless maybe you're someone like Grillo, but you look at Neil getting set up. They have this Shatter online. They're waiting for the opportunity here, and I think they might be able to find it. Hiding in the corner, one of the biggest hitboxes in the lobby. Shatter comes out. It's on the head of 2. And they're immediately going to be able to shut them down. Boboro trying to run back to spawn the charge. Not going to be able to find them now. Neil needs to somehow find a way to keep themselves up, but Goldfeather and Nemozuki have their ultimates here. This is a good opportunity for, I think, ELMT Ice to kind of still play a little bit aggressively here. We're in final fight territory right now, but you look over at the other side. Ultimate's about to be online here for both of them, as already Bobro going in, has to pop that Primal Rage to keep him alive. Ant Matrix out here, but the same thing could be said for this protocol, as you're seeing kills being traded back and forth. Bobro will find one. The almost Ajax there, but Nemozuki keeps himself alive. Bobro, though, just trying to keep this one going for their own team, as I struggle to be a cameraman. But Neil gonna be able to shut down off Black right there. So a really good bounce back for Varens here for ELMT Ice. Going into this second point, made the Rhine swap, and probably the brawliest of all the maps on this all the points on this map, and it worked out very, very well for them. And again, you're looking at these hit scan DPS, off Black playing that Emre, Burno going back over to this Cassidy, leading the lobby both in damage here. The tanks kind of falling off a little bit, but still, they're right there. But you look at the support line here for both these two teams. Nemozuki and Goldfeather doing a really good job, almost 6,500 healing each. And you look over at the other side, I mean, Eclipse and Moshi, they're doing exactly what their team wants them to do. Yeah, they're kind of lagging behind in healing, but you're seeing this Phantom Fatties team really pick and choose their fights. Very, very good. Grillo go use the TP just to get everyone out as they try to get set up here pretty early on. It's gonna be Neil going straight back over to this Winston, diving straight into the backline, trying to find off Black, but off Black gonna be able to fall right back to the safety of their team. Bobro, though, waiting for a dive attempt of their own. Still has to deal with Burno, though, on this Cassidy, and that is someone you have to be very afraid of, as that silver bullet shot can be able to land on the one. But Neil now maybe overextend themselves here yet again. Support is there, but Neil now looking for that exit path here, gonna be able to get out with their lives. Burno on this high ground could be a very scary spot for anyone on the side of Phantom Fatties. Shot comes out, lands on to off Black, but not going to be able to find the pick here just yet. Nice anti-nade there on to Boro. You need to be able to clean up this kill, and Grillo will be able to do just that here. So now start to focus in on the back line. Already Burno going to be able to shut down Daisy as well. Point capped here by Elemental Ice, and now just the cleanup is here for them as well. Moshi will find one, though, but that's going to be all they get this fight. No big swaps just yet from either team. I don't really expect to see swaps come out. Goldfeather making the long jump right there to get up to this high ground. It's going to be a really good spot here for this Ana, honestly, but you have to be very wary of Boboro making that dive up there. They're not afraid to do it, I believe, if they know they are up there. But you look over at Burno, so close to a Deadeye here, and Grillo also almost going to have that pulse bomb here ready to go as Goldfeather. Ooh, that is unfortunate right there. Goldfeather DCs from the lobby. Not necessarily a very important fight coming up, but still, you just lost one of your support heroes for them here. Looks like they're back in, so hopefully we get this back up and running pretty quickly here now. But still, I mean, right now, ELMT Ice did a really good job bouncing back after that first point performance. There wasn't really bad. It just they over-aggressed themselves, and Neo did that once on University. They charged in. Yes, they got the kill, and it did lead to them winning the team fight, but you really don't want to over-aggress yourself, especially on a hero like the Ryan, who only has that one charge. On the Winston, you can get away with it a little bit more. You have Bubble, you can play around that, you have Jump, and honestly, you look at the support line now that you're seeing here for Elemental Ice, especially when Goldfeather does come back on that Ana, you won't have the ultimate charge. That's the only sad thing here for them. So they're going to have to basically start over from scratch. But if you're Phantom Fatties, this is the point now where you could really get going. Dive, though, out here from Boro onto that high ground. Not going to be able to find Burno just yet, but they eventually will there now. As you immediately see a kill get traded out there. Neil trying to do what they can. Emozuki, though, going to be able to find Daisy. Neil, though, just jumping back to the safety of Goldfeather, trying to keep them alive and kicking here. And a good play, honestly, by Elemental Ice, being able to really hold on to that point for as long as they could, or still holding on to the point. That was just a really good fight all around. Goldfeather back in action, already going to be able to find one. And just another fallback here now from the Phantom Fatties. Look at the ultimates right now for ELMT Ice. It probably would have had almost all 5 ready to go going into this point or fight if Goldfeather did not DC. You're going to have a lot here early on, and you could really start to play a little bit aggressively here. Grillo looking for the opportunity right now. Has to fall back. Those grenades from Emre, I feel like everyone kind of forgets. They do a decent chunk of damage, and even though you've probably been killed by them multiple times. but still, Burno, Deadeye, you have another Primal Rage. The stick will find its target. Off Black taken out pretty early on here as Neil tries to get something going, forces the rally out here from Moshi, but they have this Primal Rage online, beat out though from Emotsuki, and look at them just go after it. Bubblero though, gonna respond with their own Primal Rage, find Grillo out here, and this is a very important fight now for Phantom Fatties. They need to get something going towards point. You find one pick, you're trying to force Burno to play in traffic. Deadeye out from Burno, who immediately just cancels it and recognizing that, oh, the bubble is there to stop me. Neil though has his Primal Rage online and ready to go. Overtime has commenced right now for Phantom Fatties. Emotsuki takes down one, but Neil going straight in off Black, trying to do something here, get over the point, not gonna be able to get over that building in time. At Element Ice, we'll take our first map of the night. A really good performance, honestly, by both teams. Phantom Fatties, they got off to, I think, a really good start. I think Element Ice got off to a really good start as well, but you saw it there. These swaps that Elemental Ice made, especially Burno going over this Cassidy, I think it was just able to give him a little bit more, especially as you were seeing the Winston be played there, primarily for the side of Phantom Fatties. And let me get this updated right here. But again, a really good performance there. By both teams, honestly, it was. I mean, Esperanza already going to be picked as our second map here while we wait for the first band to come, or I'll look at the stats after the first band comes in here, but you bring us to a map like Esperanza, you're still trying to play a little bit of dive here right now, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me to see them go after something like that Ana or something like that Cassidy here, as we did see Burno and Goldfeather definitely leave their mark, especially on the last map where they really were playing still dive, but that Ana just did a little bit too much to them there. Phantom though with the vote actually going to be the Diva, so it looks like they want to try to force out this Rhyme play or the Winston play no matter what. They don't want to see the Mecha Pilot come in here, and like I said, while we wait for the second band to come in, let's take a look at those stats for that first map right there. And I understand you can see whose names these are, but I cannot. Okay. So yeah, Burno and Grillo matching each other essentially here. 26 elims each. Burno though leading the lobby, just barely leading the lobby in damage right there with 12.4k. You look at the other side, it's 12, or you look at their tank there, 12.2k. I mean, they were playing very much in sync right there, especially for it being the two heroes, especially in dive competitions, that don't really, make that commitment to going in. But Burno, again, we talked about a lot when we covered this Element Ice team in the past. A very, very scary hit scan no matter what hit scan they are playing. You look over at the other side, there's still a lot of good performances there from them. Tank play, I mean, almost was able to match Element Ice. And then you also just had, I'm forgetting their name. You also have Off Black really being able to kind of, I can't keep up with Burno, especially in that first point. But after that, you really start to see Burno take control over the Emery, started to really find less and less value there for them. Looks like the second ban has been put in. We are in the sub part of the round here, and we will get to that here in a moment. Actually, looks like we should be heading in here momentarily, and doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any subs here for the Phantom Squad. And the second ban, though, I did not see what that was. It's actually going to be Genji. Ooh. Oh, God, that scares me every time. Thank you for the follow. Oh, God, I have to turn that off. I can't get jump scared like that every time. But the Genji... God, where is that? I don't know which one that is. I don't know where it is. That scares me even more. But, I mean, right now, the Genji ban here for Element Ice, I think is a really good one. You really want to try to just force them into playing, if you want to play a dive hero like that, you're trying to force them into something like the Vendetta, which really might lead you to think that Phantom Fatties might not be the most comfortable here with something like that here. But going to be heading in here momentarily. Again, the Diva ban coming out here for Phantom Fatties. On the other side for Elemental Ice, it will be the Genji ban. And I will get that updated here momentarily for y'all. And then we'll be going in. All right, let's head into our game. And let me update the score here as well because, yeah. Thank you, Grillo, for turning off streamer mode. All right, but yeah, Esperanza, I mean, this is really looked at, I think, in my opinion, as a little bit of a dive map, especially for the just first checkpoint area right here. where you really want to be able to play this high ground as much as you possibly can, but still should be a really good map here. We saw Boboro really, I think, get off to a better start on that Winston last round, but really struggled with it as it went on. However, you look at the other side now, again, you get rid of the Genji here for Elemental Ice, and like I said, I think it was going to force out maybe that Vendetta play if you were wanting to play something like that, but Neil immediately goes over to the Zarya here. This is definitely a map where Zarya finds a lot of value, just being able to really keep a lot of pressure on the cart. Outside of that, no big surprises here. Off Black sticking with the Emery. Again, able to do so much last round, just weren't able to really find some picks there in those last 2 points right now, but still, it's going to be really interesting to see how Boboro and Neil go back and forth with each other, because you're going to be looking at them try to go after each other, I imagine, the most here. Already, Burno just trying to find a shot here. Imozuki maybe goes a little bit too far, but you already see Boboro going for that backline dive. Not going to be able to find anything just yet. Falls right back to the safety of their team, but Grillo now going in. Going to be able to find one slash, but has to immediately get back out. I believe already both bubbles were used there, but Neil going to be able to get highly charged. Grillo, though, taken out pretty early on, but yeah, Neil, 92% and counting, but now slowly falling away. Back up to 100% here, and this is exactly how I think Element Ice wants to play this first fight, as you already see Boboro go right back into that backline here for a brief moment. Still, Element Ice playing down a man at the moment, but Neil highly charged really almost counts as two men in my opinion when Zarya is like this, because it forces so much respect from the other side. You don't want to put yourself in too much of an open spot, but Grillo back into the fray here, gets booped away, has to get a bubble to keep themselves alive, but immediately just knocked right back to the safety of their team. But now you see the little bit of dive come out there onto Neil, not gonna be able to find anyone as Boboro just decides to back up. Again, though, Grillo going up for this high ground, going to miss that downward slash, but they're getting some progress on the cart right now. Grillo, though, needs some support as Boboro is going to fall back to the safety of their team. Hindered there for a brief moment, but look at Burno. Deadeye already online for them. I would not be surprised if they use it here very, very quickly. But the bot needs to get moving here, as you see Neil just going right after Boboro. Boboro, though, just stalling out the cart on their own, going after this high ground, uses the bubble in a really good spot, but now it's almost Eclipse getting taken out here. Deadeye out, going to be able to at least find some damage, hoping that the picks would come after that, but still, almost 2 minutes in this map, we've only seen that one pick on the Grillo, but there it is. Burno finding off Black. Neil, though, could have this grab online, but the beat comes out from Moshi pretty early on. Now, though, this grab that they're going to have here will not have anything to counter it out. Kitsune Rush, though, going to be able to shut down Boboro, but you lose Burno for it. Grillo down, going in, not going to be able to find Moshi just yet, but going to be able to on the slash there and find Eclipse. Support line gone for Phantom Fatties, and so say goodbye to Daisy as well. This should be first point, or the checkpoint here, going over to Element Ice, especially after the first 2 minutes there, where we did not see a lot of action on that cart. Well, give it about 30 more seconds, and we will be there. Forward spawn's already online here, but look at the ultimates online for both sides here at the moment. Off Black, I think, might have to really consider using this override protocol first here, but no, it's going to be Eclipse. But here comes the override protocol, especially with this grab, though, out from Neil on point. Could get rid of Boboro here, but Boboro barely stays alive. However, you still see Off Black on this high ground, looking for anyone that can. Not going to be able to find those heavy rounds, as it will just be a quick fallback. But this is what I talk about with this point in particular here, as Sundering Blade, not going to be able to find anyone, but you lose Neil now. If you're Element Ice, you lose Imozuki. This is a moment where I feel like you're just going to die on cart here, and that's what Grillo is looking like they're going to do. Moshi going to be able to find them there, and Eclipse finds our final one here of this point. But hey, if you're Phantom Fatties, you love how that fight went for you. You were able to get you were able to take a good fight there. You also got rid of a couple big ultimates from the other side. Sundering Blade and Grab. Yes, it did come at the cost of your own Override Protocol and your own Kitsune and Primal Rage, but you'll gladly take that here, because you were in the spot where, hey, if those ultimates really worked out for Ice, it was going to be something where I don't think you were going to be able to really get back into this one here and now. Grillo is immediately going for that high ground here, but the rest of their team is up there, and now a little bit of an aggressive beat coming out here from Imozuki. Grillo going straight after that backline there, as you're starting to see the rest of their team clean house away from them here, and Off Black not going to be able to find them. A team kill here for Element Ice, as they have control of the bot yet again and are moving straight on forward. Daisy has his pulse bomb ready to go. Only ultimate online now for Phantom Fatties. But again, you have to be watching out for Burno. Deadeye online, and immediately Boboro going straight after Grillo, who Gets a bubble right there. Going to be able to give Neil a lot of charge, but I like how Phantom Fatties is starting to play this now. Letting those bubbles just kind of fade away, not giving them charge, really for making Neil have to work for this charge right now. But All Black going to be able to shut down Emozuki. Again, they use that beat in the last fight. Going to have to just fall back and wait for their teammate, or wait for them to come back, honestly, here if you're Element Ice. Kitsune Rush out here from Gold for them. That is the go button right now for them. Again, just immediately Gorilla going straight for that backline. Nice Kitsune Rush, or Suzu there to keep them alive. But now Burno is coming into the fight, and they're looking to find all the shots in the world, and they will do just that. 100 meters and counting right now for Element Ice as they are rounding the home stretch here. Nice silver bullet shot there. But 2 ultimates online now here for Element Ice. Really, you're going to have about 3 online here for Phantom Fatties. So this could be a fight here for Fatties to get something going. Off Black has this. Oh. Sundering Blade out here pretty early on. It's going to be able to find a lot of damage onto Boboro, but will not keep their line mate of Grillo or Burno alive. Grillo going to be able to find Moshi. Has to get out with their life. Does get a bubble here. An even trade across the board. Looks like, though, it could be traded back out here as Emozuki falls. However, you're seeing a couple nice shots there from Gold for their Neil, though eventually will fall as All Black decides to invest into this fight, finding 2, make it 3 as Daisy will clean up that final pick right there for them. But Phantom Fatties, 4 minutes on the clock here for them, staring down a 96-meter lead here for the Elemental Ice squad. Everyone does that, right? Please tell me everyone does it. I do that all the time. But again, you're looking over at the other side. Grab, Deadeye. You have your own Primal Rage ready to go here, but Boboro all right on the Emozuki. Has been having a little bit of a struggle this round, and now Goldfeather will fall here as they're going to be taken out by Boboro. This is already a fight where, I mean, Boboro at 4. Can Boboro get the 5th? No, Moshi just has to take it away from them there, but Boboro making a difference there for Phantom Fatties as they desperately needed that to get themselves going. Phantom Fatties just trying to play some angles here right now, knowing that no one on the side of Element Ice got those forward spawns. Still, though, you look over at Element Ice, about that 4 ultimates online. You still are holding on to 2 right now for Phantom Fatties. Deadeye, though, out here. Going to be able to find Boboro on the Okay, I should be back. I don't know how long my mic was off. I'm sorry about that. But, I mean, Element Ice goes up 2-0 in the series. Off to a really, really strong start here right now. And let me get this score updated for you here. I mean, it's been back and forth. Even though it's 2-0 right now, this is a very close 2-0. Yeah, Element Ice started to pull away a little bit late there in our first map of Oasis. And a little bit early on here, they basically carried that momentum from the end of map 1 over into map 2. But Phantom Fatties, they got better as that map went on. However, the time bank just was not on their side there, and Elemental Ice did exactly what they needed to do there just to play that right. So let's see where we're going to be heading here for our third map. And potential final one, Saravasa, and immediately Phantom Fatties does not want to be seeing the Zarya here. And I think that's a really good ban here. I thought we saw a really great play come out there from Neil on that Zarya last map, especially with Neil and Grillo. I'll look at the stats here in a brief moment so that we can get a good idea of how they played throughout that entire map there. But still, I think you're just seeing a lot of pressure come out from this Elemental Ice team very early on, and it's taking this Phantom Fatties team maybe a little bit of time to adjust, but still, Phantom Fatties is a close 2-0 right now, one that you could really see being maybe 1-1 here. I think Element Ice really pulled away on that first map. I don't think you can really make a good argument that Phantom Fatties would have been able to win it, but it was close there at the end for Phantom Fatties. Off Black, I think, has been doing really good, but Boboro, I think this Winston coming out from them has been incredible for them so far. While we wait for that second ban to come in, let's take some look at the stats there from that last round. Boboro 23-9. I mean, I thought they did incredible there. You look over the other side, only 15-6 for Neil. Even though Neil was doing a lot, it didn't. The stats don't necessarily show it. Very consistent, actually, there for Element Ice. Almost 15 or 16 kills for everyone there. On the other side, though, for Phantom Fatties, I mean, this is one of those maps where if you just looked at the stats, you would kind of be scratching your head saying, how did Element Ice win this one? They just got off to such a good start, and then just started to play 50-50 Overwatch, just slowly taking their time, being completely okay with saying, hey, we're going to take a fight here. Win a fight, lose a fight. Win a fight, lose a fight. You want to do that in those situations. Element Ice did a really good job with it there, but you're seeing those performances that you want to be seeing from Phantom Fatties. Now, heading into Saravasa, you want to be able to put it all together here now, as this could be final map of the series, and it's at least your final pick of the series and final first ban of the series as well. So you want to make sure you get off to a really, really hot start here, because Element Ice, they basically won last map off of their hot start. So still waiting here. Doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any subs just yet, but that could always change. Remember, Phantom Fatties is actually on the left. I have the scoreboard down there backwards. That is on me. Phantom Fatties on the left. Elemental Ice on the right. But, I mean, this Elemental Ice team, again, talked about coming into the series, only 5 players on it, so they're able to get a lot of synergy very early on here. Neil, Burno, and Gorillo are so scary as a just trio here. But then you have Goldfeather and Imozuki, who, I mean, I haven't been calling their name out a lot this series, but they've been doing a really good job. Tracer, going to be the second ban coming out here. So, looks like, again, this is a ban definitely onto the side for Daisy, because Daisy's been actually doing a quietly good job on the Tracer. I haven't been giving them a lot of credit for it, but they've been doing an excellent job on that Tracer. And let me just make sure I get these things in here really quick. So it was the Tracer ban and the Zar ban. All right, we will transition over into the game right now. What do the Phantom Fatties have here in this map? This could be their final map of the series here if they do not come out on top. Again, both these teams, I think, got off to really good starts this season, have 2 losses each. Again, that's kind of where I expect to see the playoff cutoff line, those 2 3-loss teams. You could really look maybe 4 losses as far as I would expect to go here. Oh, hey, what's up, Lake Tat? I would expect to see maybe two losses I feel like safely gets you in. 3 losses, you're kind of sitting there hoping some stuff goes your way. 4 losses, I think, might be where we see our 4th seed this coming season. But coming out of the gate right now, on to potentially our final map of the night here on Saravasa. Ooh, Neil actually, are they going to stick with it? They're going to stick with this Orisa here. Very, very interested in that here now. Daisy, though, going right back over to the cast here. Normally, we've seen Burno play the cast throughout the entirety of the night, but no, instead, they're going to be playing this Sojourn instead. TP coming out there from Grillo, not really finding what I think they were looking for there, but Neil will take all the space from it almost immediately, as you already see Boro just kind of bounce back here or jump back. Point going to open here momentarily as Element Ice just set up on it. Dive coming out there from Boboro again. Boboro has been doing so much for this team throughout the entirety of this series. Gonna be sawing at the point for a little bit, but Neil gonna be able to find them right there. Nice javelin though from Neil. Okay, sorry about that again. Ant Matrix out here, though, from Gold for the Gibby, able to shut down Boboro there, who finds Burno there. And again, this is just going to be the first point going over right now to the side of Elemental Ice. And if you're Phantom Fatties, you might be looking at making a quick swap here soon. I mean, you have Prono Rage online. Moshi, though, does not have Beat, but you're going to have everything else here for this Phantom Fatties squad. Off Black, though, makes a swap here. We talked about them playing that Emre. Looks like they go over to a little bit more of a burst damage here on this Pharah. I think it's going to work a little bit better for them, especially as this Kitsune Rush is out. Bobo, though, looking for something out here early on. Burno, though, overclock online, but you immediately see Bobo go right after the Burno. Shuts down Off Black right there. Terror Surge out right now. The Suzu not going to be able to get Daisy in time, and Neil finding two. Looks like they're going to be able to try to find a third one here onto Boro, who's doing a really good job playing around the bubble, but I don't think they're going to be able to escape this one here. Now it's just up to Moshi to be able to escape, but the Javelin says nah, as they have to go right back to spawn here, hoping to get one final retouch here on this point. They do have the ultimates coming online, though. Moshi making the swap now over to this over to the Brig. Barrage out, maybe one you would want to hold on for a little bit later, but now it's Daisy's turn, and their time to shine with this overclock beat, though, out from Emozuki, doing exactly what it needs to, as Daisy not going to be able to find the value with that overclock right there. And now Elemental Ice 1 point away from going to 4-2 on the season. Bower, though, will shut down Emozuki, but this is so early on before the next point opens up that this is actually kind of a little bit of a benefit to them to die and honestly get a much closer spawn. Grillo, though, going to be able to get a TP out of there. Now the only one who won't get out most likely will end up being Neil, as Neil now trying to run for their life. Do have gold for the right here. Doesn't decide to use that Ant Matrix to keep them up and kicking here. But instead, I mean, Flashpoint's going to open up here in a moment. And if you're Boboro and this Phantom Fatties team, you should be trying to get on point first, especially without Neil there. And Emozuki, what happened to you, man? But right now, Grillo just going to be able to get a high charge here on this Sim Beam. This is going to be very scary. Gold Feather now with the Ant Matrix. Going to be able to shut down Boboro yet again. And this is Ant Matrix in a really good spot just to be able to hold down such good positioning here as both Burno and now Neil back into the fray. Point yet again capped here for Element Ice. Gorilla does have the Photon Barrier online, but outside of that, Off Black is the next closest one to an ultimate here with the Barrage. Didn't really find what they were looking for the first time around on them, as again, it just seemed like it was really just trying to get rid of Neil, but Neil did a good job with that spear spin, just getting them out of dodge. Forward though, gonna be the first one on the point, gonna go dive immediately after Burno here. They don't have the Primal Rage to get them out, and this is what we were talking about, maybe Neil making that mistake in the first map, a little bit over aggressive, but they're able to get back out barely with their life, but now just being pressured by everyone still. Gonna be able to somehow get out. Eclipse and Moshi doing so much, but eventually Eclipse will fall, and now Bora has to kind of play a little bit slower here. Terror Surge, though, out from Neil. Not going to be able to find anyone there, but the Barrage from Off Black does find two. This time around, you're finding the value, but you need to be able to clean up the rest of the picks here. As now Emozuki going after Off Black, 20 health and a dream, but Emozuki, they sense blood in the water, but not going to be able to find them just yet. Only the Lucio healing here for Neil, as Bovero does have this Primal Rage online, and they have Eclipse behind them. Photon Barrier, though, out from Gorilla, and Bovero has to play on the right side of it here to get all the healing from their teammate Juno. Right now, TP coming out only as a fake, but Gorilla will find Boro out, and now this looks like it's the cleanup crew here for Elemental Ice. Off Black trying to find what they can here. Finds one, but Burno shuts them down with the overclock. Now Emozuki to find the final one. Daisy will slide in just to say hi and then a quick goodbye. Much like this series here, it's a quick one, as Elemental Ice is going to be able to take down Phantom Fatties 3-0 in our match here tonight. Again, the first two maps were really close. It seems like Phantom Fatties, especially towards the end of Esperanza, figured something out, but they were not able to carry it over here until our final map of the night. Burno getting play of the game here. Grant, again, just great series all around here for Element Ice. 4-2 on the season, officially halfway through it right now. And honestly, if you're them, you are feeling very, very confident in how you're playing here, honestly. They are playing great going into, like I said, the halfway mark of their season. Only a couple more games to go for them. Let's actually take a look who their next couple games are here. Agave Garfa, Fallen Eclipse, Ragnarok, Mike Runda's 200W, and Faka. I mean, honestly, this Elemental Ice team does look like they've been in a really good spot here to be able to kind of maybe run the table. I'm not going to say completely go undefeated on the way throughout the rest of the season, but they look like a team that could drop a series here in their final 6 games or final 5 games and still make playoffs. They look like that good of a team right now. Phantom Fatties, though, they followed 2-3 with this loss here. We'll take a look at their next couple games coming up here and just see how they fare. Factor X, Piso Sour, that's going to be a really tough one for them, as it is really a tough one for anyone in the region. Garfo, Eclipse, Ragnarok, and Mike Ruindas. So again, I think Phantom Fatties, they actually have a favorable schedule. However, just having Piso Sour still there is a tough one, because that is a team that right now is looking like one of the best, along with Heist here in the South American region. But Factor X, even though they haven't, I don't think have found a win here as of late, they are looking better with the new players they added in. Agare Garfo, again, a team that I think both me and Hunter expect to be able to bounce back. Fallen Eclipse, we've seen them a couple times this season. They look like a good team, just need to figure it out. Ragnarok, they had a great start, but have kind of fallen off since. And Micro Undas, again, one of those teams I think a lot of people are really talking about being in those playoff spots. So you need to be able to win some of these games against teams that people are looking at as being in the playoffs or playoff contenders right now. But overall, a really great series all around here for Elemental Ice. I mean, they came in, got off to a good start on Oasis. Kind of struggled, though. They gave up that first point, and that's maybe the only blemish in this series for them, that 1-2 there on Oasis. Other than that, I mean, if they win that 1 point, you look at it there, a straight 3-0, or not even giving up a point to the other side. Just great performances all around from everyone there on Elemental Ice. Like I said, Phantom Fatties, they got better as the series went on, but you need to be able to have a little bit more consistency at the start of these rounds. They got better as it went on, but the starts are always what kind of killed them here. Elemental Ice got off to a 100-meter lead, I think, within the first half of Esperanza right there, and they never really looked back from it. But, hey, again, congratulations to Elemental Ice. They are now going to be going into next week 4-2 on the season. But that will do it for me here for South America. Come back in about a little bit over an hour, about an hour, 5 minutes, as we will have another game in the North American region while I'll be bringing you Iliad Artemis as they take on Vivacity, 2 teams that have been a really, really fun 2 teams to watch throughout this season. So everyone, make sure you join me back here again in about an hour for the finale of our doubleheader as we head to North America. Again, thank you everyone so much for coming out. Hope to see you next time. But until until then, hope you have a good night, and see you then.